Welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt with the Sacramento Report. In the next few minutes, we're going to be talking about dealing with California's multi-billion-dollar backlog in transportation projects. My guest this segment is Senator Pat Bates, who represents Southern Orange County and Northern San Diego County and a member of the Transportation and Housing Committee. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Steve. It's great to be here.
So there's no doubt, everybody along the political spectrum understands that we've got to do something about our roads, our highways, and our bridges. Last year, we had a special session to deal with that, called by Governor Brown, and it was defeated by Republicans. So I guess you have some opposition to the way that was going to be financed.
Yes, it is about calling for more taxes and road user fees. And as we know, we do have a surplus this year when we have about a 5% increase in the revenues that have come in. And we believe that layering more financial burdens on our middle class is not the way to go. We believe that there are other revenues in the budget that can address certainly the backlog that we have with our infrastructure. And we've seen local governments doing an excellent job. I'd like to really focus on two transportation measures in my own district. There's Transnet in San Diego and Measure M2 in Orange County. And we actually got our constituents to vote for extending a sales tax for those measures because it does focus on specific projects. It allocates certain amount of revenues to those projects. And there's a taxpayer oversight committee that looks and makes sure that the revenues are going specifically for the projects that the people voted for. So we have said, without certainly using the revenues we currently have to address our transportation needs, not looking for new revenues until we build a trust in our public that the money that they're paying for transportation improvement is going directly to those in their specific communities. And that's what we've asked for. We came up with a couple of suggestions during the whole dialogue. None have been accepted yet, but we will continue to work with the governor because we all know there's a significant need out there.
Well, what are your suggestions for getting that money? Because the governor has proposed $3.6 billion in his new budget for transportation infrastructure.
Same plan that was introduced last year. It means more taxes on diesel and fuel, gasoline.
Vehicle registration fees also.
Vehicle registration fees and a user fee for travel. When we're talking about putting toll lanes on our freeways and instead of building toll roads, which are discretionary for the user, and you're going to lump more taxes on, and you have the cost at the pump highest in our state, we can't go in that direction. I do believe that people will reject that unless we have something that offers them surety and trust that those extra dollars are going to go directly to their communities, and we're going to have an expedited delivery of transportation improvements.
So you're talking about sort of delineating that where that money would go.
Yes.
In this legislation.
Correct.
And also pulling dollars from other parts of the general fund.
Yes.
Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay. Briefly, you have a housing bill that is pretty interesting that sort of helps those who are on welfare, and it's sort of like languishing in the Senate. Tell us in 20 seconds what that's all about.
Well, it's pretty in-depth, but it essentially is a pilot project to help individuals who are currently receiving welfare rebuild their lives through, I call it an immersion program, where we focus on parenting skills, how to interview a job, getting your high school diploma, family reunification, all those things that are important to moving from dependence to independence, and I believe the opportunity to have a life that is full of a future separate from waiting at the mailbox for that very meager welfare check.
There's a lot of nuance with this bill. We'll have to have you back to talk about it.
Love to do that.
Thank you for being here.